I don't know if this is going to actually turn into a podcast, but I just need to share what long COVID is like. I work full-time as a medical provider. I got long COVID the summer of 2022, and I worked full-time with it for a year and a half and would just take off a few days or a week when I had a flare-up. My job was not very supportive, and when I asked for help, they made the job more difficult in the ways that I could not really manage. I have been not at work since mid-November of 2023. I have realized that with the brain fog and the severe fatigue that occurs, that I may have to medically retire from working as a medical provider. But all of that is nothing, not nothing, just all of that is not as hard as losing a sense of identity and just not being able to be depended on to do things. I had an appointment with somebody and I had a flare-up and I could not, I had to reschedule twice, and I could tell in the email that, she was very annoyed with me, that I was being flaky and wasting her time, but I didn't know what to say. I still don't know what to say. I don't know how to respond to her email because she was acting like I was wasting her time or dissing her or something. But I wanted to say, no, I was a really high functioning person. I completely would have had this in my old life, but I don't have it anymore. And I know I'm not alone. I know that there are a lot of people who have long COVID who had really different lives before getting long COVID. And I've looked at podcasts about long COVID and long COVID support, and I feel like there are a lot of things out there that are supposed to be helpful for what worked for you, or stories of people. But I think that the thing that is missing, that I am hoping that if there's enough of a response that maybe I can help with in a small way, is just having a place to express what it's like to have long COVID, how it has changed my life forever. Because even if I do recover fully from this at some point, I will never forget how it feels to not be able to find a word, to have to speak more slowly than usual, to feel like I'm swimming through molasses and my brain is just not working well. And this is from somebody that I used to think I was a rock star at my job. And I was. I was a rock star. I was really good at my job. And so it's really, really hard to live every day fighting for, in my case, workers' comp, but everyone is fighting to pay for their, pay their bills. And I just don't, I know that a lot of people with long COVID, there's a lot that has been voiced about suicide with long COVID. And I do understand why someone would feel that level of hopelessness and despair. I get it. I think that long COVID has a profound impact on the mental health as well as the physical health. And I think that being able to, excuse me, that's my pet, being able to voice what it feels like and process what we're feeling and thinking and kind of grieving, working through what is happening. I mean, every time I have a flare-up, I'm like amazed every single time. Like, I'm just, whoa, like, oh my gosh, I'm in my early 40s and I can't walk to get my mail. I just can't believe this is happening. It seems like I'm going crazy. And if I did not have a sibling who also has long COVID, I would be convinced that I have no idea what's happening to my body because the symptoms of long COVID change. Anyone who knows other long COVID people will say, oh, if you know one patient with long COVID, you know one patient with long COVID because everybody has all these different symptoms. And thankfully, the sibling that has long COVID, like me, genetically we're very similar, so we have a lot of the same symptoms. But even with us, we don't have exactly the same things. So I don't know. I want to create a forum where people can listen to what I'm saying or what I'm reading that someone else wrote and feel heard and feel understood and feel like there's hope for them, and to just not give up because we are all in this together. And at some point, I hope that all of us are able to be healthy again one day. But I don't know if that will really happen. And it takes a lot of work to have your entire life be shaken upside down and to try to figure out how to put the pieces back together to create a new life, a new post-obtaining long COVID life. But if you are listening to this and you have long COVID, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry that you're going through what you're going through. I feel a lot of the same feelings all the time, and I'm working so hard to try to get better. And it's so easy to feel like you're knocked down as soon as you take one step forward. But we just can't give up. We have to keep going, and we have to be there for each other and support each other. So I wanted this to be called something like Cut the Crap Long COVID Support or like Real Talk Long COVID Support, something like that. Because this is like our lives. This is a drastic change from my life even just a few months ago. And I just kind of wander through the day being bewildered by what has happened to me, what's happened to my brain, what's happened to my life. And I figure maybe it'll help someone else if I'm vocalizing what I'm feeling. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. It's a pleasure to speak to you, and I appreciate you listening.